Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my show. I hope you're well. Let's talk some news. On Wednesday, Federal Chairman Jerome Powell said that he pledges to keep the rates low for years to come. Now, today's CNBC headline, S&P 500 slips from record, techs get slammed as 10-year yields jump. The 10-year yield today went up 11 basis points to a whopping 1.75%, the highest since January 2020, and the 30-year Treasury went up 6 basis points to 2.5%, the highest since August 2019. And the federal chairman insists that until inflation increases above 2%, the central banks will not intervene. On that note, over the weekend, unemployment claims rose to 770,000 new claims. Some financial economists believe that we have a verbal or nonverbal yield curve control in the works. And they said statements like this confirm it. I don't know. I'm not an expert here. They're the pros here. Quote, when federal chairman said, quote, it does not expect to hike interest rates through 2023. Now, my question is, with this massive bank reserves, massive inflation, and quantitative easing, why have 10-year Treasury yields and 30-year not went spiraling out of control like bananas and chaos? George Gammon weighed in on that. He weighed in on that, and he said that the reason why there isn't an increase in higher for 10-year and 30 years because the Feds buy $80 billion in 10-year, 30-year Treasuries a month. Now, like some economists believe that there's yield control curves going on or yield curve control. In February, Zero Hedge headlined Australia being a prime example of why yield curve control should not be practiced. Zero Hedge headline in February 25th said, quote, Australia's yield curve control is on the verge of collapse. So what does all this added bank reserves, QE, quantitative easing, and increasing or making the balance sheets even bigger, what does that mean for lending institutions or banks? Well, financial experts are saying that this will impact banks' ability and desirability to lend money to you and I. George Gammon says that if this continues, this massive inflation, QE by Janet Yellen and the Feds, and this continued bigger bank sheet statement, what's going to happen is we're going to fast forward go back to 1922, where Weimar Germany had hyperinflation and civil unrest. And because he believes that the commercial banks are going to continue, they are the ones who create money supply, and it's going to continue. It's right now at 25%, the creation of the money supply, the liabilities, for the commercial banks, it's just going up. And he takes us back to hyperinflation and a timeline where he believes it will happen in the next 5 years. So he goes to Michael Burry's statement in his book, quote, the title, Dying of Money, where he says the first passage of Burry says, quote, Germany's inflation cycle ran out for a year, but for 9 years, representing 8 years of gestation and only 1 year of collapse. And he goes into saying, Burry, quote, inflation in the sense of rising prices was moderate. Domestic prices only a bit more than doubled in the end of the war in 1918. While the government's money supply had increased by more than 9 times, the government's debt increased still more. So long as the government in this way could spend money it did not have, faster than its value could fall. Germany had both its war and life as usual at the same time, which was the same as having the war free of charge. And Gammon says instead of war free of charge, he would put there war of the stimulus, war of government spending, war of the cerveza sickness. Gammon says if we need to understand the signs of inflation, stagnation, stagflation and hyperinflation. We've got to focus on the deposits or liabilities of commercial banking systems. Like I said before, transactions between the feds, the government, the banks, which leads actually the commercial banks to increase their money supply, like I said before, or M2. And as they increase in deposits of commercial banking system, he said that, Gammon said this, that Lynn Alden, an investment strategist, said this, quote, the real economy, she said, since 2020, the money supply in the real economy has increased by 25% in just 1 year. He said we could end up reliving 1922 Weimar Germany. Not good stuff, people. That's why he wants to arm us with, like I said, the dragon portfolio. And when he was asked, Gammon, what's his favorite equity or non-equity for long volatility, Gammon said, for non-equity, I would go with options. And as far as asset prices, because of what's going on, the adding of bank reserves, quantitative easing, massive inflation, we're having asset prices that are going up, asset equities that are going up, out of the roof. And Gammon said that we should go with stocks that outperform during those times of asset prices going up and asset equities going up. And he said, you got to look into that. So I thought, if we're dealing with stocks, I would think, I'm not no expert now, it's just me here, my opinion, that I would go with mining stocks with precious metals, silver, gold. And I looked up investment u.com, and the headline was 5 inflation stocks to invest in before they go up. And the first one was iShares S&P GSCI Commodity Index Trust. The next one is Global X Internet of Things ETF. The next one down is Vanguard Real Estate. After that one would go Invesco, INVESCO, DB, space DB, Base Metals Fund, mining, precious metals. And last but not least is the SPDR Gold Trust. Gold, people, go out there and get it. That's what Gammon advised us to do with this inflation skyrocketing, interest rates potentially going up to crazy numbers. He said now, and the yields, 10-year yields going up. Now's the time to get gold and silver. That's what he says. You got to do your education. Make sure you're comfortable doing that. Don't take my word for it. But he also said, Gammon, that good things to invest in is like the dragon portfolio, like I mentioned the other day. Go back over that and look at that in my last video. But he said gold bond investments. You got to have some long exposure to equities, do commodity trends. He also said that the commodity dividend paying stock producers are good. Commodity producing stocks, offshore commodity producers, he says they pay great. And Mike Maloney, CEO and founder of Gold and Silver, predicts that 1 ounce of gold will go up to a whopping $11,000. And some people might be thinking, well, when it gets to that, I want to cash out. But people, remember, Uncle Sam wants his money, and the government will charge you a capital gains tax, and that could be up to 40%. That could decrease your purchasing power by selling. So you might want to think twice before you get into that. Now, thank you for watching, people. Like I said, do your homework. Don't take my word for it. Thank you for watching, your support, and we will see you in the next video. Take care. Be blessed. Till next time. Bye.